Hi everyone, welcome to SR Broadcasting. We're here with the Somo Racing League. Tonight we've got a little bit of a practice race going on. Just a little bit late joining into the race. My name is Adam Baker. I'll be in the booth today commentating. And these guys are qualifying right now. Let's go to Stephen Parks. Let's see if there's anybody on track right now. Looks like Jay Felton is on track. He's trying to put a time in. We got a brand new overlay here, and trying to adjust some volume settings and get things going. So let us know how things sound. You should be hearing audio at this point. Looks like we've got a minute left in qualifying, and then we're going to go to the grid. So really just trying out some new settings here tonight with the overlay. Trying to get some bugs worked out. Some of these camera angles are going to be pretty loud, so we got to reduce the volume. See if we can jump in here with Ron Holyfield. Trying to save some of these settings, reduce volumes, and it looks like qualifying is over. Timothy Lewis is going to get the pole. Let's bring up our grid. We didn't get the national anthem in before this, but let's see here. Let's get this camera set up. Looks like Timothy Lewis is going to roll off on the pole. To his outside is going to be Kurt Davidson, so congrats to those guys for putting it on the front row. Third place starting is going to be Stephen Parks. Fourth is going to be Andrew Melvin. Fifth is going to be Braden Johnson. Sixth will be Jay Felton. Seventh is going to be Paul Zoda, and eighth will be Larry Holloway. Alan Kirkpatrick will roll out 9th, Joe Owen 10th. Ryan Gemmel is going to qualify 11th. Aaron Schaefer did not take a time and starts 12th. Vince Moore starts 13th. Chad Heath 14th. Adam Jones 15th. Ron Holyfield 16th. And Sam Cooper Bennett is currently scored as the last car on track, although I believe he, Chad Heath, and Aaron Schaefer are not yet gridded up. We are here with the Capital Auto Repair and Service truck series, or this is this stream brought to you by Capital Auto Repair and Service, new sponsor to the series. We want to give a shout out to them and thank them for coming on board and sponsoring some of our races and the truck series, which will be starting up tomorrow night. Let's see here. And they're going to start rolling off. We're going to take a look at tonight's weather. It looks like it's going to be partly cloudy skies. iRacing did just introduce dynamic weather and dynamic track conditions, so we may see day to night transition here because we're starting in the evening. We'll see if the lights come on and how that goes. Air temp is 73 degrees, track temp 74 degrees, and we are at the Daytona 2011 Oval. Should be a good race. Not too slick of a track. That seems like a pretty low temperature, so Ideally, we won't see too many issues coming through the tri oval, which is really the only area where we'll see any kind of slick conditions. I'm not sure what the stages are tonight. We have 95 laps in this race, so stages, I would think, if we're actually going to have them, are going to be pretty short, probably 20 and 40, maybe 25 and 50. We will see how that goes as these guys are rolling out of turn 4. So if anybody's watching right now, just let me know how the volume sounds, if you can hear my voice over the car audio. Pace car goes into pit road, and we are under green. Timothy Lewis on the inside with Andrew Melvin on the outside. These guys now getting up to speed. We got 2 wide for 3 rows, 4 or 5 rows now. So a 10-car breakaway, and then looking back from Paul Zoda, it's going to be a little ways back to the 33 of Alan Kirkpatrick. We see Ryan Gemmel back there running a pretty nice Lowe's paint scheme. Let's go back up front now. Andrew Melvin able to drop down in front of Timothy Lewis, and he brings Jay Felton with him. So those guys now out in front. Andrew Melvin's going to lead the first lap of the race. And it looks like the outside line's not doing a whole lot right now. We see the 70 of Larry Holloway backed by the 51 of Joe Owen. And Joe Owen drops the inside, almost making contact with the 46 of Adam Jones. It's hard to see that number. He's got an all-black scheme going, so you can't really see it. But that was a close call. And we see Joe Owen and the 70 nearly making contact. And they're very close coming through 3 and 4. Still Andrew Melvin, Jay Felton, and Timothy Lewis out front. So Timothy Lewis started on the pole but did not get to lead a lap. Andrew Melvin's led both of them so far. If we go a little farther back, we see Ryan Gemmel and Alan Kirkpatrick are kind of falling off of this pack. Gemmel's going to have a hard time catching back up. He's pretty far back right now. Looks like half a second behind Kirkpatrick, and Ron Hollyfield, the next car behind him, way back there with Chad Heath and Kurt Davidson. So Chad Heath did get in, but Aaron Schaefer and Sam Cooper Bennett did not make it into the race. So we have 15 cars in the field here tonight. Most of them are lined up in the front pack. And then we have a pack of 2, or a pack of 3 a bit farther back. Andrew Melvin drifting up a little bit, trying to give Jay Felton some air. Oh, and we see somebody going around. Adam Jones gets turned. Paul Zoda's involved. Not sure how that happened. Oh, and we got contact there. Looks like Chad Heath maybe got a part of that at the end. So let's roll this back just a little bit. We're going to ride on board here with 46. They were going into the turn. He got bumped from the 37. Paul Zoda gets involved. 46, and then Chad Heath comes flying through and makes a little bit of contact with the right front. I don't know if he's got much damage. Let's take a look at the nose. Yeah, he's got some right side damage, so he's going to have to get that fixed. Paul Zoda, I'm pretty sure, lost the nose on that car. He got pretty heavy damage from that first hit, and then the second hit really did him in. So he's on pit road right now. And leaders currently coming out of turn 4. And they're probably going to bring it in. Let's see if we can get a good view. Got to rotate this camera around a bit. I see a few cars coming in. So, pardon the interruption while I move some of these cameras. Got to get these in the right spot and get them ready for tomorrow night's race. Seems pretty good. Save that. Sorry about the replay button there. I've got to change my hotkey for that. So let's go back to TV1. Andrew Melvin still out front. I'm just changing some settings here in the background. We do not want that. Under caution replay. We're going to clear that hotkey. Good to go. Alright, so just one caution now. Andrew Melvin has led 5 laps. Jay Felton currently in second. Let's go through the top 10 here. Andrew Melvin in the lead, Jay Felton second, Timothy Lewis in third, Stephen Parks in fourth, making his return to the league. Braden Johnson in 5th, Larry Holloway 6th, Aaron Kirkpatrick 7th, Ryan Gemmel 8th, Joe Owen 9th, and Vince Moore in 10th. These guys are running open setups tonight, so this is the first try with open setups that we've seen over here in Somo. So hopefully everything's going smooth. These guys are getting double filed back up. Looks like they'll probably be restarting just a moment. And we do want to give another shout out to Capital Auto Repair and Service for coming on board and sponsoring the league and sponsoring the truck series. So big shout out to those guys. I believe Jay Felton was a big part of that, so we want to thank him for helping out. So if I get quiet at any moment, I'm doing a lot of changes here to my settings. Let me know what the audio sounds like. No wingnut tonight, Dad, because it is a Tuesday night. I believe he will be helping me tomorrow, so just gotta make sure that he's on board, but I think he will be helping me, and hopefully I can get some of the MB Motorsports guys up in the booth to give a little bit of insight. And right now, Jay Felton on the inside. Andrew Melvin is the leader, though, and the green flag is out. Andrew Melvin with a good jump. I think Jay Felton may be laying back so he can let Melvin down on the inside, but Stephen Parks gets a good run. He's not gonna have any help right now, though. And those front two, Andrew Melvin and Jay Felton, just break out in front right now. Stephen Parks jumps to the inside in front of Timothy Lewis, who keeps getting shuffled back on the restarts. Larry Holloway up on the outside with Ryan Gemmel. Kurt Davidson on the inside of those guys. Braden Johnson as well. Ryan Gemmel jumps down to the inside line. Larry Holloway is going to be the last one up on the high line. So we've still got this 8 or 10 car pack, and then looks like we've got a pack of 4 and then a couple stragglers. Paul Zoda is a lap down, but he's running with this pack of Alan Kirkpatrick, Vince Moore, and actually Chad Heath, Vince Moore, and Ron Holyfield. Joe Owen is a ways behind Zoda. We'll see if Zoda tries to lend a helping hand here and reel him back in. Once you get far enough back, it's hard to catch up to the cars in front of you. So right now we've got Melvin and Jay Felton on the inside line. Outside line is going to be Stephen Parks, Timothy Lewis, and Kurt Davidson. Braden Johnson still on the inside, trying to link up with Felton and Melvin. Those guys are good friends and want to help each other out. And Stephen Parks getting a great run on the outside. Timothy Lewis giving him a good push along with Kurt Davidson. Ryan Gemmel still hanging back here, so right now it's kind of a 6-car pack and then a small 3-car pack. And then all the way back, Chad Heath. And these guys now a 5-car pack, but they're racing side by side, and that's going to slow them down if they're not careful. Andrew Melvin still leading the way. Let's see what kind of stats we've got here for Andrew Melvin. So he started 4th, currently 1st. We don't have laps led down there, but you can see it up on the top of the ticker. 10 laps led out of the 10 laps that have been run. We're right now on lap 11 of 95. 85 laps remaining. No lead changes since Andrew Melvin took over, and only the 1 caution. So we've got 8 cars here now, and it looks like Larry Holloway's starting to lose this pack. He's going to drift back most likely to Joe Owen and those guys. Let's see if we can get a good view of how far they are behind. Wow, yeah, they're pretty far behind. Joe Owen is 4.4 seconds behind the leaders. And then Vince Moore, the next car behind him, behind Paul Zoda, who's currently with that pack. He's a 10th back, and then Ron Holyfield is way back. Pretty solid pack here up front, which is good to see, and hopefully we don't get any cautions, and this stays a pretty competitive race. Up front we might see some pit strategies and some partnerships. Andrew Melvin's still leading, so no lead changes. He's just trying to run away and lead every lap. He's got Jay Felton hot on his tail, Braden Johnson right behind him, and then Stephen Parks in 4th. Ryan Gemmel laying back a little bit from Stephen Parks. He's got Adam Jones, Timothy Lewis, and Kurt Davidson behind him. So kind of 2 small 4-car lines. And then 3.4 seconds back to Larry Holloway. So really far back for him. Joe Owen now 5.8 seconds back. He's got Paul Zoda giving him a push. They will catch Larry Holloway, no doubt. And Chad Heath and Vince Moore linked up together. Oh, we lost Ron Holyfield for a second there. He's 18 seconds back. So he lost that 3rd pack, and he's way off the pace now. Andrew Melvin still out front, led 14 laps so far. We're on lap 15. Usually we see a lot of leaders in a race like this, but not so far tonight. Melvin's been out front and nobody can seem to get by. Nobody's making a run. See the 33 of Alan Kirkpatrick. It looks like he has some right side damage and he is getting caught quickly. We'll see what the leaders do here. Kirkpatrick stays down low, but he comes up. He gets into Jay Felton. He goes spinning to the inside line and we caught that. And they're all right up front, but Kirkpatrick with some hard hits. Not sure what happened. It looks like he just drifted up. Let's go to the instant replay on that. Let's see if we can get on the chase view. Yeah, he drifted up into Felton. Felton with a great save at that point. He lost a lot of track position, so he's not behind Melvin anymore. So yeah, you can see how far back he is now. Ryan Gemmel now challenging for the lead on the outside line. Andrew Melvin still holding the inside, and he's led every lap so far. We'll see if Ryan Gemmel can actually steal this lead away at the line and try and lead a lap. Ryan Gemmel is my teammate over at MB Motorsports, and he's a great plate track racer. I'm not sure exactly what he does differently, but he usually finds his way up front. And just as I say that, he gets turned. So it seems like the announcer's curse is real. It's definitely a different viewpoint for me to see it happen as I'm talking about it. So unfortunate for Ryan Gemmel as he was challenging for the lead. And Andrew Melvin's going to hold on to the lead. We're going to go back there and take a look now that we are under caution. And we missed it just a little bit there. So Gemmel just up high. The 4 of Timothy Lewis gets into him. The 4 gets involved, gets the 46. And Jay Felton. So big wreck there. Jay Felton's going to have serious damage. A lot of those guys going to have serious damage. Yeah, you can see the engine on Felton's car starting to look like a modified. That is not what you want at this track. So we're going to head to the end of pit lane here. These guys should be coming through turn 4 and come into pit road. And we are going to step aside for just a second and go to side by side, and we'll have the pit times up there.
brewing beer because it's a mix of art, science, and engineering. And you get to play with the different ingredients to make the beer that you want to drink. Some of the beers we make, Pruner's Pale Ale, Raspberry Blonde, Blackberry Wheat, the Farmer's Breakfast Stout, Backyard Hops Fresh Hop IPA. We make a Christmas beer that has juniper and spruce in it. All of my friends and family that tried my beer thought it was great. They cheered me on, and I kept trying new things and making bigger and better beers. But I also won a couple of contests. Pretty proud of those. It's a tough thing to do, to win a homebrew contest. The competition is quite fierce. People are really looking for experiences when they want to connect with the person who made it and, you know, hear the story of where the ingredients came from and why they made the beer the way they did. Kent Farms was founded in 1939 by Edward Kent, my great-grandfather. Since then, we've started doing Christmas trees, pumpkins, and hay rides, and a fall festival, and we now have an ATV park with 70 miles of trails. We're thinking we're going to be like an, outdoor brewery destination where people can hang out in the yard, because we'll have lots of wide open space, and take in the views of the hillsides and the trees. We've raised enough money to renovate our building and build the tap room, but what we really need is the brewing equipment to make enough beer for people when they come to Kent Beer Company. We're hoping to be done with construction in February and get our equipment ordered and be open by summer of 2019. In an impersonal world, it's a personal product that you can connect with.
And we are back. I just want to give a shout out to Kent Beer, that last commercial. Those guys have a Kickstarter campaign going right now. I work with them. I've worked with them to get that campaign going, and that group at BZ Design here in Rochester, New York has done a lot of work to get that campaign ready, and they have really great beer, really awesome people. And so go back them on Kickstarter. The campaign is live right now. I think it's about 80% funded. We still got the majority of a month left to go on that campaign, so looking forward to seeing those guys get their funding and get going and get ready to brew some great beer and ciders as well as handmade sodas. So looking forward to that. Right now, we're coming out of turn 4. These cars are side by side, getting ready to go. Pace car is about to pull in. He turns left down to pit road. Stephen Parks, your first new leader instead of Melvin, gets him going. Doesn't get a great start, though. Braden Johnson's going to beat him to the line. So Braden Johnson now the new leader. He's going to get a push from Andrew Melvin. It looks like we've got the majority of the cars now lined up in a group. We've lost 2 cars. Ron Hollowfield's 2 laps down, and Alan Kirkpatrick looks like he brought it behind the wall. I missed what happened right there. Looks like we had a few cars get out of shape. I'm going to rewind it. Oh, Felton got into Stephen Parks, and that was a close call. And they got it all grouped back up. Now we've got few different lines of cars. The top 3 or 4, it looks like, are in a line. Let's go to our blimp view. Yeah, so we got 4, and then you go back to this kind of smaller group of 4, and then 4 more, and then Felton's all the way at the back of the line now. So goes from second at one point in this race to being in an accident, using a faster pair, and these guys have 4 faster pairs tonight. Now he's all the way at the back of the field in 13th, so Yeah, he started 6th, currently running 13th, and it looks like he's going to hold on to the draft for the moment, but not the best position to be in. We're going to go behind him. We're going to adjust this camera while we're in here. Oh, and we got a wreck going on in front of us. This is a good view to be in, actually. Felton able to get by. He dives into the grass. Let's go back and see what happened. They're still wrecking. We're going to go back 30 seconds, or 20 seconds here. Let's see. And we're going to ride along with, let's see if anybody, who was involved in that. Joe Owen was involved, so let's go back. He and Gemmel get a little bit of contact going through 3 and 4. And more contact. That shoots him into the wall. He turns the 37, and then it's on from there. A 70 and the 46 with hard contact. Paul Zoda narrowly avoiding that. Let's, oh, he gets contact with the inside wall. I'm going to go to our helmet cam for that one. For Paul Zoda to see what he was looking at. Wow, it's just chaos in front of him. And he's all the way down there, and then you can't even see the car next to him. And he loses control just in the grass. These cars are, you know, very difficult, and he just makes minor contact. They're all caught back up now. I'm going to go to our pit lane camera, see if anybody's going to come in. We've got a few cars coming in. Braden Johnson and Melvin. Gemmel stay out, as well as Jay Felton. So you got a bunch of cars coming in. That was our 3rd caution of the night. Currently on lap 25 of 95. And let's see here. Let's go to our other view. Somebody may have already come off pit road. I did note that I have to fix this pit timer because right now it's just showing the seconds and nothing more than that. These guys all kind of roll out together. Everybody with 4 faster pairs, so some of these guys have already had to use a couple. So it looks like about the top 4 stayed out, and then Timothy Lewis's first car off of pit road. Looks like he may have taken 2 tires or no tires. I don't even think we caught his pit stop, maybe just taking fuel. Braden Johnson is your leader. He's got 4 laps led. And I do need to add laps led to my driver info. So that will be the next thing on the agenda. Also need to add some things to my race summary, which we'll bring up right now. We got 71 laps remaining, 2 lead changes so far that may update, or may not actually, since we had the first one with Stephen Parks and now the second one with Braden Johnson, so we've only had 3 leaders here tonight. Andrew Melvin, Braden Johnson, and Stephen Parks. We're currently under caution. Once again, we want to thank Capital Auto Repair and Service for sponsoring the series. It's going to be coming on tomorrow night, the Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series here with Somo Racing League. I'll be bringing that to you. We should have a couple other guys in the booth. So currently under caution, the 3rd one of the night, Braden Johnson out front. Andrew Melvin, who led a good portion of this race at the beginning, probably nearly 20 laps led. He's in second right now. Ryan Gemmel, who was battling for the lead, got involved in that one wreck, and he's back up to third after staying out there. Jay Felton, we were just talking about him. He got caught up in the wreck after having an issue on the backstretch with the 33. Was able to save it. Really good job there, and he was unfortunately caught up in that first wreck, but able to continue on and avoid that last one. He is back up to fourth after staying out. We're going to do a quick rundown through the top 10 and see where everybody's running right now. Braden Johnson currently in the lead, Andrew Melvin second, Ryan Gemmel third, Jay Felton fourth, Timothy Lewis, our pole sitters, in fifth. Still has not led tonight, but currently running in the top 5. Kurt Davidson sixth, Stephen Park seventh, Vince Moore in eighth, Chad Heath in ninth, and Joe Owen in 10th. And behind them we've got Adam Jones in 11th, Paul Zoda in 12th, back on the lead lap now. Larry Holloway a lap down in 13th, and Ron Hollifield 5 laps down. Probably going to call it a night. Let's see if he's still out there. He is back on the track, so I guess he's going to try and run it out. Probably not going to have a chance to get back on the lead lap unless it becomes a serious caution fest. At that point, we may not have any cars left. Braden Johnson chooses the outside for this restart. So if there's any data or information you think is missing that you'd like to see in this stream, any stats or just other overlays that we could add that might make this more interesting, let me know and we'll get those going. And we're back under green. Braden Johnson gets him going. Andrew Melvin looks like he's laying back. Gonna let Johnson drop down. He started moving before the line. We'll see if the admins do anything about that. Probably not gonna enforce the rule of changing lanes before the start finish line. Here comes Jay Felton on the outside with a big push from Kurt Davidson. He's gonna try and get back. He's gonna try and get to the front for the first time tonight. He was so close just pushing Melvin. These guys are really twitchy on the bottom line. I know we're running open setups, so maybe somebody's got something, maybe a lot of these guys are sharing. Maybe these, and we're wrecking again. Oh, man. Big wreck. Ryan Gemmel involved again. Not sure what happened on that one. He's got no front end, so he's a modified. It looks like the 51 is a modified. 46 clearly upset. We're gonna ride on the inside with Ryan Gemmel on this one. So we're on the helmet cam with Ryan Gemmel. Looks like he gets a little hit from the side. He gets turned up into the wall and hard hit. He lifted off the ground. You could hear the tires lose contact with the ground. And then rolls to a stop there. Let's go back one more time and see what happened from an outside view. They were 3 wide. Kurt Davidson had taken it up there. 37 and the 51 kind of came down, and wow. Did not notice the 51 flipping there. So a lot of guys involved in that one. If you want to get sick, let's ride along with 51. Oh, that was the 37 that actually, I don't know who that was flipping. Anyways, we're gonna go back on board here. These guys coming to pit road. Lots of cars with major damage. We see Braden Johnson missing his box, having to back up and get reoriented. Jay Felton uses his fast repair, maybe just takes some fuel, and he's gone. Andrew Melvin back out right behind him. It looks like we had Timothy Lewis and Stephen Parks stay out. So let's go back up to those guys. They stayed out. We see Ron Hollifield's 5 laps down still. He's riding back up here. He's maybe trying to take a wave around, but I don't think he's going to get it since those two are staying out. Timothy Lewis finally leading a lap after starting on the pole. Let's see what we've got for lead changes now. 3 lead changes, so I think 4 leaders in total. I don't know if Jay Felton got to lead a lap. Not seeing any of that information on my scoring sheet. Jay Felton started 6th, currently 3rd. He's been running up there all night, other than the few incidents that he's been involved in. Not really his fault in any of those deals, but just unfortunate circumstance. I think, well, we got some time. These are pretty long pace laps. We're going to kind of run through, talk about each of these guys and their history with the league. Timothy Lewis has been a member here at SOMO for quite a while. He's run this 4 car. He's had some success here at these plate tracks and other tracks. He's a long-time SOMO member, though, so good to see him still running out here with us. And we'll be excited to see what happens with him in the next season. Stephen Parks was a consistent member here for quite a while. Back in 2017, he ran quite a lot. In 2016 as well. Took a break from the league and ran official races, a lot of dirt races from what I saw. And now he's back. He's run some races with us every so often for the last 6 months, but really likes these tracks. He's got a nice looking car tonight, that #1 car. Jay Felton has been running with us since the Winter Series last year. He's been running the full season in all 3 series throughout the year. Made it to the Final 4 in the Xfinity cars and nearly won the championship. Came down to Lupe Gonzalez and him at Homestead for the championship, and Lupe just barely edged him out. And he nearly made it into the Cup Series Final 4 this past week. Andrew Melvin is a fairly recent member. He was with us the majority of this past year, so good to see him out here, and hope to see some more success from him in the future. He's definitely fast and one of those guys to contend with at the front. Chad Heath is a new member here at SOMO, so excited to see what he can bring to the table. Kurt Davidson is one of our admins. He does a great job. He also works for Stuart Haas Racing, so he knows his way around a race car, and very knowledgeable, smart guy who helps out a lot with the league, so glad to have him here. Paul Zoda is our league owner and an admin. He does everything to keep SOMO going. He's been helping me get this stuff going, so really appreciate Paul, all he does for each and every one of the drivers here. He's a great guy, and really loves doing this stuff and helping people. So, let's see. Vince Moore is a new member to the league, so excited to see what he can bring. Adam Jones has been with us for the past few weeks and has shown some speed. Ryan Gemmell's been here for the past few years, my teammate over at MB Motorsports. He's said he's going to be competing full-time in the Truck Series this year, so that'll be awesome. Braden Johnson has been here since the Winter Series last year. He's been very fast and contender for wins in all 3 series throughout the year. And I didn't get to those last couple guys, but we'll get to them in a minute. Right now we're going back green. Timothy Lewis gets him going. He's got 3 laps led now. Andrew Melvin was on his outside. Is on his outside now as Timothy Lewis drops down in front of Stephen Parks. He's got the advantage at the moment, but Kurt Davidson pushing Melvin. They're getting a good run on the outside. There was a little bit of a gap between Lewis and Parks. Parks has some rear end damage, and I don't know if that's going to cause that inside line to have some issues. Felton is all over that back bumper. These guys bomb it down into turn 3. Very close quarters there. It looks like a lot of people trying to get to the bottom. Andrew Melvin was backing up the high line and drops down in. Kurt Davidson, we see the 37 make an aggressive move to get down there. Jay Felton now jumping to the outside. Stephen Parks coming up to try and side draft. Jay Felton with a huge run now has a nose out front. I don't think he's led yet tonight, so we'll see if he can actually get across the line and get that lap led. He's got some help with Andrew Melvin behind him, and it looks like Stephen Parks is having trouble sticking to the 4's bumper. Oh, those guys, Andrew Melvin nearly drops down into the 4 car, and we see some shuffling going on with the 80 back here. The 37 and 41 nearly all getting together. Jay Felton, though, in the lead. He dropped down in front of Timothy Lewis, and he's going to lead a lap. So Jay Felton in the Monster 9 Camaro now out in front. Andrew Melvin is leading the high line with Kurt Davidson right behind him. Paul Zoda is behind Kurt Davidson, so we got 4 cars on the high line and then 8 cars on the inside line. And then kind of 1 straggler in Braden Johnson behind, just kind of waiting to see what happens. I think he's in a good spot right now as these guys are all mixing it up here. We've seen issues going into the turn, so cars getting tight. Clipping the apron have been causing problems, and we've seen cars get tight on exit. Right now, Jay Felton holding on to the lead solidly on the inside. He's got help with Timothy Lewis, Stephen Parks, and the 80. 80 in the 80 jumps up in front of the 88. 37 sneaks down underneath the 88. Ryan Gemmel's the next car in line on the bottom. We'll see if he can close that gap. So Larry Holloway and Joe Owen, 51 and the 70, those 2 are a lap down, but they're mixing it up with the leaders. Joe Owen currently 12th, Larry Holloway 13th. Ryan Gemmel jumps to the outside there. Ron Hollyfield is in the pits right now. He's 9 laps down. Not sure what he's doing, if he's having issues with his connection. But he's not going to be in contention for this one. The last test stream we did, we ran at Talladega. We were in the Xfinity cars. Oh, and we see the 41 and the 80 make contact. 80 kind of pinched him down. 41 seemed like he drifted up a little bit. Those guys shuffle around, and then the 41 and 80 still side by side after all that. Not sure if the 80 was trying to side draft or if the 41 got tight. But luckily they save it. And we've already had 4 cautions here in 38 laps, so has not been the best showing from these guys as far as holding lines and staying off each other, but been pretty aggressive racing overall, I think. Jay Felton out front. Oh, and we've got a car spinning on the back. I'm not sure who that was. I think Chad Heath. He's blinking in and out. Oh, so we just saw the 80 make contact. Let's jump back and see what happened to him. He went up, and then he came down across the nose of the 70. And that sent him down on the inside. He's getting back up to speed. We're 3 wide right now. Back 2 wide. Jay Felton still out front. He's led 5 laps now, so strong. He loses his drafting partner, though. Timothy Lewis jumps to the outside in front of Stephen Parks. He's going to try and get the lead back. We saw him lead for a few laps there. He's going to try and, oh, almost makes the move, but there was not room. He did not get clear of Felton. So Felton with the run back up on the inside, but I think Lewis is going to be, he's going to be clear, and Stephen Parks tries to go with him, but he had nowhere to go because Felton was right next to him. These guys are being very aggressive, and I think a lot of them are just trying to follow the guy in front of them. They may have some communication going on, trying to figure out who to draft with, who to partner with. You see Paul Zota drop to the inside. Outside line now kind of broken up. We've just got Melvin and Stephen Parks pushing at the front, but again, Parks has that rear end damage. I don't think it'll hurt him too bad, especially with a car pushing him. But it's pretty heavy left rear damage, so see what happens there. There's a big gap on the inside line, and Stephen Parks makes the move. We're 3 wide back there. Kurt Davidson, Adam Jones, and the 51. They're staying off each other for now. Ryan Gemmel jumps up high to go with Joe Owen. Remember, Joe Owen and Larry Holloway and the 51 and the 70 are both a lap down, so they're trying to get in front of the leader in case something happens. They're just trying to avoid a wreck so they don't have to pit and can hopefully use a wave around or something. So side by side for the lead. Jay Felton, I think, had the edge there. He's led 6 laps to Timothy Lewis's 7. We see the 70 get forced down below the line. They all get it back in order there. We see Paul Zota now leading the outside line. Big push from the 4, pushing the 9. Paul Zota's going to get help from Andrew Melvin. Nice big group of cars here racing it out, and Melvin's going to ditch him and drop to the inside line. Paul's got nobody to help him, and here comes the 37 of Vince Moore. He's going to give him some help. Bring up race summary again. 53 laps remaining. We've had 6 lead changes, so didn't have any there for about the first 20 laps, and then ever since we've been racing it up, we've had a few lead changes, and then the 4 cautions, so a few different incidents all around the track. Right now, Andrew Melvin back to the lead of that outside line. Paul Zota gets shuffled back. Stephen Parks trying to make a move. He's going to jump up there, but I don't know if there was any room. They're going to check up the outside line. That's not going to help him. Melvin was peaking 3 wide and decides to back out and run the high line, but they're going to get stacked up nose to tail, and I think Stephen Parks' damage is actually going to hurt this line. It seemed like they couldn't hold the position before. We see Ryan Gemmel and Braden Johnson have backed out of it. And again, they are running open setups here tonight, so it's very likely every car out here has a different setup. So some guys might be tight, some guys might be loose, some guys might be really, really fast in the turns. Some guys might just be a mile an hour slower on the straightaways, and it's hard to tell that from the booth up here. There's a few things you can do to these cars to actually get them to go faster. You got to really stiffen up the suspension, and you got to slam the car as low to the ground as you can. You got to keep that rear spoiler out of the air as much as possible. And there's only so much you can do in iRacing to get the car down there. without the splitter then grinding on the ground. So I'm sure a lot of these guys are doing that. There may have been a shared setup among some of these, but usually drivers like their own certain feel to how the car drives, so they may have adjusted steering ratios, brake biases, all that kind of stuff. Not that you're using the brakes here all that much. So Jay Felton still leading now in double digits for laps led, 10 laps out front. They're catching up to the 80 who we saw spin out on the backstretch. This could get dicey. They're too wide. 70 drifts up nearly into the 4. And they keep it clean for now. 80 stays high and nobody gets into him, and they stay straight going through 3 and 4. So good job there by all the drivers. And now we see, is that the 30? That's the 51 of Joe Owens. Now worked his way up to the front of the pack, but he's a lap down. It's actually showing him on the lead lap right now. He's trying to earn his lap back the hard way. And it's really hard at one of these tracks because you don't usually want to get in the way. We've seen Joe have some speed here. Oh, the 70 gets up into him. They make contact. 70 is struggling in the center of the turn to keep it down. He gets on the apron there, and that's pretty dicey coming through that section. 70 goes up to side draft. Joe Owen leading the outside line. He gets very close to Andrew Melvin, so we'll see if he drops back down in line. It looks like he was going to try to, but they're 3 wide right now. 46 of Adam Jones, the 51 of Joe Owen, now the 37 to the inside. And the outside line's getting stacked up big time. We've got Timothy Lewis, our pole sitter, with Stephen Parks right behind him. And we're 3 wide again. And we're going to stay right back there to see if anything happens. The 51 not giving the 4-car a lot of room. Gives him a bit more now as soon as I say that. And the 1-car side by side with Joe Owen. Jay Felton still out front. We saw him involved in a couple things early, but he's made his way back up front. He's holding on to this lead. He's got the 70 of Larry Holloway, who was our winner here on the last test stream in the Xfinity car. We got into it with Len McNeese on the last lap, but was able to come away with the win after running a pretty solid race. So he's got some success at these types of tracks. We'll see if he can somehow get to the front and seal the deal again tonight. Looks like right now he's just pushing Jay Felton. I just noticed that the 70 Larry Holloway's running the old SS as opposed to the Camaro. So is the 46 of Adam Jones. Jay Felton continues to lead. We see Adam Jones jump outside. He's got the 37 of Vince Moore right behind him. Those guys making their way to the front. We've kind of got it's kind of a 4-car line, and now they're all back in line. Single file run in the bottom. Paul Zota peeks the outside. He's going to go. We'll see if he gets a run. Doesn't get much of a run, but he's got a nice drafting partner there in Kurt Davidson. The 2 Fords link up right behind the 2 Chevys, followed by 2 more Chevys. We see Adam Jones and Vince Moore now kind of closing in, and we've got 4 cars linked up on the bottom and the 2 Fords on the outside. It's primarily Chevys in this race tonight. We've got all Chevys except for 4 Fords, and one of them out of the race. Oh, and we see contact between the 46 and the 99. 46 is going to save it. I'm trying to catch up with him. He saves it, comes through the grass, takes out the cone. He might get a black flag, but they'll clear it for him. Oh, and we see contact now. 37 and 99 getting together. Can they save it? And they save it, so no caution. And that's bad news for Paul Zota, who's got heavy damage now on the left side. 37's going to have some damage on the right side, and they're not going to have a chance to get that fixed because we have no caution. So we will see what they can do here. Jay Felton still out front. He's got Larry Holloway, who is a lap down. I actually forgot that he is a lap down. He's still running up here, and we see Ryan Gemmel now running second. He's going to jump to the outside. They get a good run, him and Kurt Davidson, and they're going to try and just run past Felton here on the high side. Kurt Davidson giving him a touch there in the center of the turn, which is dangerous, but sometimes works. And Gemmel is going to get out front. He's going to lead a lap tonight. That gives us 7 lead changes. We still have had the 4 cautions and a few incidents outside of that that didn't bring out cautions. We got 41 laps remaining. These guys have been out here for about 25 laps. Some of them as long as 30 laps. And not sure how far they can go on fuel. I think they're running, let's see if it's 95 laps. They're running about 50% fuel, I think, tonight. So probably going to be coming to pit road in the next 5 or 10 laps. I don't think they can go any farther, and maybe more than 50% fuel. Might be 70. That's what we've been running throughout the season. And right now, Jay Felton still out front. Andrew Melvin takes over second place. Ryan Gemmel falls at third, along with Braden Johnson behind him in fourth. Paul Zota and Adam Jones have linked up well off the pace. Currently almost 12 seconds back. And we also see Stephen Parks, who I'm not sure if he got caught up in that, but he still has that left rear damage. I think he's got some left front damage now. So I think he may have gotten caught up in that incident, and he's lost a lot of time, but that'll end up being a 3-car pack. We're going to go back up to the lead pack for right now. We've got 7 cars in here, although the 70 is a lap car, so we've only got the 6 lead lap cars up here. And then we got Vince Moore back a ways. He got caught up with Paul Zota there, and I think he'll end up falling into the clutches of Stephen Parks, Adam Jones, and Paul Zota. And those guys all battling for the back half of the top 10. Larry Holloway's, like I said, a lap down. He's up here with the lead group. Andrew Melvin looks to the outside of him with Ryan Gemmel, his drafting partner at the moment. They're going to try and make a run past Jay Felton, who's been out front now for quite a while, now 21 laps. Chad Heath is still out there. He is 1 lap, and let's see, he's over a lap down, so quite a ways back. You can see the leaders coming into turn 3, and Chad Heath now just coming past the line, so he is quite a ways back. And back up front, we're side by side. Andrew Melvin trying to take over the lead. He's probably going to get him at the line. He does just barely edge him. 19 laps led, and we see the 70 getting caught up there. does a good job of saving it. Let's see what happens when he brings it up on track. Oh, he loses the back end. He does keep it straight. And that's going to be a tough time for him. Oh, he's losing control. He's back up on the track. Very slow. We've got these 3 cars now, 4 cars passing by on the outside. That's tough luck for Larry Holloway, who was running well up in that lead pack. Not sure exactly what happened. Kind of broke up that lead group. Still, it's now 6 cars instead of 7. Jay Felton resumes the lead. It looks like Andrew Melvin might have lost his help because Ryan Gemmel dropped to the inside to take over 2nd place. So we'll see if Melvin chooses to help Ryan at any point later in the race, as we're coming down to the last third of the event. So again, 10 cars on the lead lap. This is your top 10. Jay Felton in the lead, Ryan Gemmel 2nd, Kurt Davidson 3rd, Andrew Melvin 4th, Timothy Lewis in 5th, Braden Johnson in 6th, Adam Jones in 7th, Stephen Parks 8th, Paul Zota 9th, and Vince Moore back in 10th. You can see we've got the lead pack of 6 all grouped together, and then the next 4 are 17 seconds back. I think most of those guys have damage, and they're looking for a caution here. I don't know if they're going to get it, though, because we've got so few cars remaining. And I think it's really going to come down to pit strategy as we're coming into the closing laps of this race. They've been out there for 32 laps, some of them as long as 36 laps. Timothy Lewis and Stephen Parks have now been out there 37 laps, actually. So those guys are probably cutting it pretty close on fuel. It may be about 40 laps in total for a fuel run. So I would imagine that some of them are going to have to stop soon. And they should be able to make it from here if they stop, because the distance remaining is about the distance that they've gone on this run so far. So we'll keep an eye out to see if any drivers bring it to pit side. And this group of 4 is all linked up. They've lost 2 more seconds since we last checked the interval. Yeah, Paul Zota 20 seconds back now. These 3 cars in the front of this pack are all on the lead lap, but the 37 car is a lap down. He's just hoping for a caution. Oh wait, 37 is also on the lead lap. I'm looking at the number 80 who's a lap down. Larry Holloway losing a lot of time. He's now 2 laps down. So Jay Felton's still showing the way. He's led 26 laps, but he leaves the bottom open, and Ryan Gemmel takes a shot, but Felton closes the door. It looked like Gemmel was going to stick it in there and hope that Felton didn't come down, but I don't think it was going to work. And so you can see the lights have come on now here, and we're getting to nighttime, so that's the new iRacing update. The day to night transitions, as you can see the airplane taking off in the background. And it's a pretty cool new feature. It's been present in some of the NASCAR Heat games and some older NASCAR games. So it's really nice to see it in a simulator such as this. It's going to change the track conditions as well. Let's see if the track temp has dropped. You can see the air temp has come down 2 degrees, as well as the air temp has dropped 1 degree, but the track temp down 2 degrees, so there's no sun shining on it anymore. It's just going to be whatever the ambient temperature is. Right now we see Chad Heath. Oh wait, who's this? Larry Holloway, who's 2 laps down, currently in danger of going 3 laps down. It looks like Stephen Parks and Paul Zota made their pit stops. Adam Jones and Vince Moore 23 seconds behind the leaders. They're still on track. We're going to go back to the lead and see if anything happens here with Larry Holloway trying to stay in front of him. He's just going to let him go. I think his race is probably going to be over. Larry Holloway probably just going to hope to get in line here. He made his pit stop already. He's 5 laps into this stint. Timothy Lewis currently 42 laps into his stint. Vince Moore and Adam Jones still on track, but here they come to pit road. Vince Moore coming in hot, locks the brakes up a little bit, and they come in side by side. Chad Heath also comes in with them, so we'll see if any of those guys get speeding penalties. We see Stephen Parks and Paul Zota leapfrog them on track. They're still a lap down, though. Some of the leaders peeling off. Kurt Davidson and Timothy Lewis. Timothy Lewis smacks the cone. He's going to get a black flag for unsafe pit entry for that, and that's going to cost him dearly. He's going to drop all the way back to that second pack with some of those guys. And you see some cars coming out. We saw somebody, I think, spinning. It looked like Adam Jones got really loose exiting his box, but Timothy Lewis, unfortunate mistake there is going to cost him. We see Kurt Davidson on his way back out. So he rolls out. Oh, the other leaders all coming in. Ryan Gemmel almost loses it coming to pit road. Hopefully he doesn't have a speeding penalty. We'll see what happens. Jay Felton leads him in. Braden Johnson down on the inside. Gemmel's going to get rammed by the 88, and that's going to hurt him. And he's going to have to use a fast repair. We'll see if he had it selected. He may not have. He's not even in his box. So Andrew Melvin's going to have some damage there too. Let's see if we can look at it. He's used his fast repair. Ryan Gemmel has not left his box yet. He did use the fast repair. Jay Felton's going to come out first. Andrew Melvin's going to come out second after all that. He's got Braden Johnson right behind him. Oh, Melvin spinning. He keeps it on the apron, but there goes Kurt Davidson. Timothy Lewis still out there too. He's just going into turn 1. He may actually... he's going to be pretty far behind, I think. He's coming through turns 1 and 2. Jay Felton, still your leader. Led 31 laps tonight. I think he's probably going to seal up most laps led. Some mistakes there on the pit cycle have really cost people. Braden Johnson now all by himself. Kurt Davidson has reeled in Jay Felton, and he's going to get there. He'll get some draft from him from this distance, and we're going to have a 2-car run for the win, I think. I don't think Braden Johnson's going to be able to reel anybody in. Andrew Melvin with that costly mistake on the apron. He's linked back up with Ryan Gemmel. We'll see if there's any retaliation for the incident on pit road. I don't think there will be. I think it was just Gemmel was trying to cut down low, and Melvin did not know where Gemmel's pit box was. We'll see if those guys link up and what they can do. No doubt that Gemmel will catch up to him. But right now, Kurt Davidson takes over the lead. So a change at the front. Kurt Davidson must have come along with a head of steam, and he's going to lead his first lap of the night with 25 to go. Braden Johnson, 3.7 seconds back. And then you can see Larry Holloway's the next closest car to him. And then Melvin and Gemmel linked up, but they are 11 seconds off the leader. So their two separate mistakes have cost them, but they're back together, and they may be able to catch up to Braden Johnson by the end of this, but they're not going to get to the leader. Timothy Lewis with the speeding, or the unsafe pit entry, 6th place right now, 19.4 seconds back. Stephen Parks now in line with Paul Zoda, Vince Moore, and Adam Jones. So all 4 of those cars got their damage fixed and are linked back up, but they are 27 seconds behind the leaders. They will start making time, and they'll probably catch Timothy Lewis in the next 10 laps or so. He's about 7 seconds ahead of them. And right now, Jay Felton looked like he was trying to make a move to the outside. Kurt Davidson still on the inside. Ryan Gemmel leapfrogs Andrew Melvin to jump into 4th place. Right now, you can see the intervals here. Kurt Davidson and Jay Felton both up there at the front. Kurt Davidson now with 3 laps led. Braden Johnson is 6.3 seconds back, and Andrew Melvin and Ryan Gemmel about 11.5 back. Looks like they are making up some time on the leaders, though. There goes a couple tenths right there. So if those 2 leaders keep racing it up like they are, not running side by side, or not running nose to tail, you never know what could happen. If these 3 cars with Braden Johnson, Gemmel, and Melvin get linked up, they can start making up some time. And they're not too far back that it's impossible, but we'll have to see what kind of lap times they run when they get together. Yeah, because right now, let's see what their times are at the line. Timothy Lewis in 6th. He's about to get caught by Stephen Parks, Paul Zoda, Vince Moore, and Adam Jones. Those guys coming at him with a full head of steam. And they've made up 3 seconds on the leader in about 3 laps. Those guys running about 44.8s, and leaders running 46.2s and 3s. And we're going to jump up here with, oh, this is going to be a 4-car pack. So we're going to see Braden Johnson, Ryan Gemmel, Andrew Melvin, and then I think Larry Holloway is going to get in on the action there and just try and give these guys a push. These guys, oh, checking up hard there from Ryan Gemmel. Now they're in line. It looks like we will have 4 cars in a row. The leaders running 46.5s and 6s. We'll see what these guys are running at the line. Braden Johnson with a 46.1, but the other guys, Ryan Gemmel and Melvin, running 45.3s, so over a second faster than the leaders. Currently about 7 seconds back. If they run that time every lap, they're going to catch up. And you can see they're gaining time. Even the pack behind them, now 21 seconds back, so they've gained 6 seconds, and those guys run about 45.5s. I expect this group to start running high 44s, low 45s. This back group, I don't think really has a chance to get there, but the this 4-car pack running 44.7s on that lap compared to the leaders 46.2 and 46.4, so they are on their way. Now under 6 seconds behind the leaders. Let's see if we can go to Jay Felton, and then actually let's go to Kurt Davidson and see if we can look behind him. Can't quite see them through the turns, but they should be exiting the turn about now. It looks like a long ways, but when you're running half a second to a second a lap faster every lap, it's only going to take about 10 laps to get there. So race summary, we've got 18 laps remaining, 12 lead changes and 4 cautions that have happened so far. Those were all quite a bit earlier. This stint has been about 50 laps. So a really good run so far. Let's see when that last caution was. Yeah, they've been green since '31, I believe, maybe lap 32. You know, quite a long time. Currently on lap 78, and these guys are coming. I just looked at the interval down to under 4 seconds. It looks like they lost Larry Holloway a little bit. The leaders running 45.1s. This group running 44 3s and 4s, so 7/10 of a second roughly. Almost 8/10 of a second for some of them per lap. And at that rate, they're going to catch them in about 4.5 laps. So we will have a 5-car race for the win. And after all that melee that happened on pit road, Ryan Gemmel and Andrew Melvin kind of saved by Braden Johnson not having anyone to draft with and having to drop back. The gap now 3 seconds. We're going to leave this up because this is going to be the important information coming to the end of this race. Jay Felton currently out front. Kurt Davidson still battling there with him. But they're pushing nose to tail. I think they know that those guys are coming. And I think if they had gotten in line a bit earlier, it would have helped. But I think this group still would have caught them. Now about 2.5 seconds back. It's only a matter of time. Leaders ran a 45.1, and this group ran 44.5s. The group behind them, Stephen Parks, Timothy Lewis, and Paul Zoda, currently running 44.7s, so they're also coming, but they're quite a ways back, 17 seconds. They've made up 10 seconds, but 27 seconds is a lot to recover and just probably not going to have enough time to get there. They may be within 10 seconds by the end of this, but I don't think they're going to be able to close in all the way. And this group now running 44.6s and 7s compared to the leaders' 45.1s. So the difference is not quite as much as it was earlier, but now the gap under 2 seconds back to Andrew Melvin, who's the last car in that pack. Let's take a look back from the back end of Kurt Davidson. You can see those guys reeling them in. 1.5 seconds back. Leaders ran 45.1s compared to 44.6s. That's a half second faster. they'll get there in 3 laps at that pace. And we'll see if they choose to jump to the outside. I have a feeling that Braden Johnson will take the move to the outside. And Gemmel may go with him. I'm not sure about Melvin. And I apologize if there's any audio level issues. Some of the cameras have not been set up yet, so some of the audio levels are really, really loud when we're really close in like that. We're going to go inside with Braden Johnson and see what he's looking at. So you can see they're right there. It's less than 3/4 of a second. This pack is now a 5-car pack. Now who's going to go with who? And who's going to try and make the move for the win? Braden Johnson takes a look to the outside. He dives back down, just trying to get as much momentum as he can. He's got pull from those first 2 cars, and he's kind of lost the back 2. Braden starts weaving. He makes a move to the outside. Gemmel not close enough to give him a boost, but those cars go up high. Melvin was peaking low on Gemmel. He's still looking low. And it could get dicey between those two. They've already gotten into it. Braden Johnson's in line now. And he takes a peek to the outside. Gemmel goes with him. Maybe that Braden is trying to get Gemmel to jump out there and then Melvin to sneak on by on the inside. Braden jumps high. Gemmel goes with him as well as Andrew Melvin. Braden Johnson doing everything he can to try and get next to Kurt Davidson, but doesn't look like he has enough speed or enough push behind him. Those top 2 are now linked up pretty well and have run around each other for quite a while. Jay Felton with 43 laps led. That's going to secure most laps led for him. He goes to the high side to block after Braden Johnson gets a big run. That leaves Kurt Davidson alone on the bottom. We'll see if anybody goes down there with him. This would be the time because Davidson's going to lose lots of speed right now, and he drops well low. I think he knows that that move really hurt him. Ryan Gemmel dives to the inside. There's nothing he can do there, though. Kurt Davidson drops all the way to the back of that pack. We'll see if he can hold on to the draft. And with the new draft package in iRacing, I don't think it'll be an issue. And this 3-car pack is 15 seconds back. We've got 7 laps to go. And they're not going to get there unless we have a caution. And if we have one in the next couple laps, this race is not over yet. We see Kurt Davidson giving Andrew Melvin a push in the turn. And those guys right on each other, nose to tail. So right now it's a 5-car pack. All in a line. This is a pretty good view to see if anybody makes moves. Andrew Melvin takes a move to the outside, but nobody goes with him. That's going to let Kurt Davidson squeeze back by on the inside. Melvin's going to drop to the back of the line. Unless Braden Johnson decides to make a move. And Melvin gets back in line. We are still lined up. Each of these guys looking pretty antsy, trying to time a move. It's going to be a group effort, though. now we're at 5 to go. We're going to go through the top 5 one more time. Jay Felton is your leader. He's led 47 laps, so basically half of this race. Braden Johnson in second, with Ryan Gemmel, Kurt Davidson, and Andrew Melvin rounding out the top 5. And then even farther back, we've got Stephen Parks, Timothy Lewis, Paul Zota, Larry Holloway, and Vince Moore. Vince Moore 9 laps down, not on track right now. Larry Holloway is still on track, 2 laps down. But even if a caution came out right now, his race is over as far as competing for a win. And Paul Zota and Timothy Lewis and Stephen Parks are all losing these guys now as they've all linked up in this 5-car pack. I think Gemmel's laying back, waiting to time something. He's got Kurt Davidson right on his bumper. Yeah, we're going to be coming to 3 to go at the line this time. And this could get very interesting. If these guys all wreck, Stephen Parks, Timothy Lewis, and Paul Zota are within striking distance if these guys don't get going fast enough. 17 seconds is pretty far back under green, but when a car has a blown engine, 17 seconds is nothing. So 3 to go now. 5-car pack. They're all in line. Braden Johnson peeks to the outside. Doesn't make the move yet. He's going to have to time this correctly because he's only really going to get one chance. And if he's lucky, he'll get a second chance, but I don't think that's going to be the case with such a small pack here. He looks high, comes back low, trying to get as much momentum on the exit of the turn as he can. Jay Felton here in a pretty good spot, though. If he can just block the runs by these guys, he could take home the win, but he could get turned like Eric Almirola and lose it on the last lap. And we saw him run so strong here in the Xfinity cars last week, so we will see if he can hold on this time. Braden Johnson right behind him still has not made the move. We're on 2 to go. We're going to be coming to the white flag this time. It's a 5-car pack still. Kurt Davidson and Andrew Melvin not really in position to make the move. Although if Kurt Davidson goes and Melvin goes with him, he might have a chance to make a run on the outside. But nobody's making the jump right now. Ryan Gemmel, the first one to peak high. He's gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to do it now, or they're never gonna be able to get there. Braden Johnson stays low with Jay Felton. Ryan Gemmel goes high, but he gets left out to dry. Not sure what's going on. I don't know why no one made a move other than Gemmel. They may try to make the move now. Braden Johnson goes to the outside. And it's going to be close, but Jay Felton's going to win it. Braden Johnson comes home second. Kurt Davidson third. Ryan Gemmel fourth. Andrew Melvin rounds out the top 5. So great job by Jay Felton. Definitely dominant here tonight with 52 laps led. Awesome run by those guys to finish out the race. Surprised no one else made a move to try and get by Jay Felton. These last few cars still coming in. Stephen Parks comes home 6th. Timothy Lewis comes home 7th. Paul Zota 8th. Larry Holloway 9th. And Vince Moore comes home 10th, 13 laps down. So Jay Felton, your winner here. Awesome run by him after having a few incidents early. He's not even going to do a burnout. He might have forgotten. He's hasn't had a win here in a regular series race as far as I am aware. He pulls right into his box like nothing happened. So Jay Felton is your winner here tonight. Let's bring up this the winner banner. Started 6th, led 52 laps out of 95 laps tonight. Awesome job by Jay. Incredible run there to finish the race. Basically led the entire second half of the race continuously. So really awesome by him. We're going to go take a quick break and come back with our top 3 for interviews. So hold on and don't go anywhere. And we're here live with Jay Felton, our winner here tonight. Jay, it was definitely a rough start for you for this race. Just tell me how it went for that second half and how you made your way back up to the front.
I don't even remember how I got to the front. I think I stayed out on one of the yellows and got some more track position, and had a great green flag pit stop. You know, when I came out of that and kind of got rolling again, I was in pretty good shape, and I just wanted to kind of race with Kurt there, and that might have messed us up and allowed those other guys to catch us, but you know, they were like 7 seconds back, so I was really surprised when they cut it to 4 or 5 seconds. I knew I was in trouble, so I figured I better just try to draft with him, but it didn't work.
Yeah, we were mentioning that if you guys had stayed together and had not raced side by side for so long, that they may not have gotten there. I think they were running about 7 to 8 tenths of a second faster a lap, so I think it was inevitable that they got there. It would have taken a few more laps, but either way, it's good to see you run up front for so long. What were your thoughts coming down to those last handful of laps?
Well, going back to the racing side by side with Kurt, it's a fun race, so I wanted to have fun, you know. So that's what that was all about. And coming down to the last couple of laps, I was just thinking, you know, somebody's going to get a run, and I got to defend.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that nobody really made the move. It looked like Ryan Gemmel jumped out of line, but Kurt didn't go with him, and neither did Andrew Melvin, so he was kind of out there to dry. And Braden didn't make the move until the last second, and I think that was a little bit too late, just based on, you know, our view from the booth here. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised nobody made the move earlier.
Maybe they felt sorry for me, Adam.
No, I'm not sure. You were out front, for a long time, at the second half of this race. So definitely strong, definitely fast out there. And even before you were in the lead, you were pushing Melvin, for the first 15 or 20 laps. So you were in the top two for basically 75% of this race. So definitely deserving of the win.
I had a good car. I mean, my car drove really well, and it felt like it had speed. I had set the gear up for the nighttime because I thought I didn't want to have too much gear in the car because I knew when it went to night, I didn't want it wound too tight, and I think that worked out for me, Adam.
Yeah. Now that you brought that up, I actually wanted to talk about the open setups. What did you do to make the car a little bit faster, if you're willing to tell us, or what did you think of running open setups out there?
I'll tell you what I did. First of all, I just tried to get the car out of the air, tried to get the car low, and tried to anticipate what it would be like when it was nighttime, and just experimented with the gearing, and took a chance on the gear, and I think it worked out pretty good because I just felt like I had a fast car, and I was redlining at the end of the straightaway, but I wasn't redlining, halfway down the straightaway or earlier than that. So, but as far as other tracks, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to get a car set up correctly, and I'm a little concerned about it, but just going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a learning curve for the majority of the drivers. So, I'm sure there will be a lot of sharing of information between teams and drivers, and hopefully we can all kind of help each other out so that the racing is competitive. But yeah, it was a good show tonight. There were definitely people that were getting tight from what I could tell on the exit turns. But then you could see some cars were really strong on the straightaways. And, you pushing Melvin and then also being out front yourself, it seemed like you were definitely one of the fastest guys. So definitely deserved the win with 52 laps led. You were out front a long time after starting 6th. And before I let you go to celebrate the win, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out to SR Broadcasting and Paul. I want to thank you for broadcasting the truck races this upcoming season. I'm really happy about that, and I appreciate you doing that for us. And I want to thank all our sponsors for the upcoming season, that everybody that's supporting SOMO.
Awesome, Jay. Awesome, Jay. Well, congrats on the win again. You were dominant out there, and we look forward to seeing you run in the Truck Series starting tomorrow night. So go celebrate, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Adam, and don't forget to share those setups with me, okay?
All right.
See you later.
Oops. All right, and next we're going to bring in our second place finisher. I believe that was Braden Johnson. Hey, Braden, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, and it's actually Mike.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Changed my name.
All right, it was showing up as Braden, but great run out there, Mike. I believe you came home second. How did the car feel for you out there? Just kind of give us a rundown of your race.
The car felt great all night. I was having a ball. It couldn't have been any more fun.
Awesome. Well, you definitely were strong out there. We saw you, near the top 5 basically the entire night. Saw you get caught up in a couple of things early and a couple of things side-by-side racing. Did you run a custom setup tonight, or were you running kind of the default setup?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did you get my question there?
Yes, I don't know what was going on with my mic. Yep, I had a great car. It felt great. I had a ball. I probably should have made my move a little bit earlier, but I was happy to finish second.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that you waited as long as you did. I thought when Ryan went out there, you might go up to block and maybe use him to help you draft up to the front. But it was close at the line. It looks like it was a pretty tight result. Looks like 58 thousandths, so definitely close finish. It was worth the effort there at the end. So before I let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting. I'd like to thank Samo and thank this league for putting on these races, having a ball in them.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the second place finish. We will let you go to celebrate.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
All right, and I believe our third place finisher was Kurt Davidson, so we'll see if he is willing to do an interview.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Kurt, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, Kurt. Well, you had a good shot there at the end. Came home third. You were up there running with Jay for quite a while. Kind of give me a rundown on how your race went and how the car felt tonight.
Well, I'm thankful we had a lot of fast repairs today because I normally ride around in the back at Daytona and with fast repairs and a practice race. I figured I'd run up front and see what it's like, and I got wrecked a lot, so I learned not to do that moving forward. And me and Tim, we came down pit road there for that last pit stop, and he hit the cone, so I got hung out to dry, and I thought I was done then, but it looked like the 9 and the 3 and the 88 pitted together, and they came out very separated. So I was able to catch the 9 and ran with him. I thought we were good, just me and him, and then the next 3 caught us with what, 10 to go maybe, and I knew I was outnumbered. There was 3 teammates there, and then the 6 and me, and I tried to help the 6, but the car got loose. I couldn't stay with him, so kind of hung him out to dry. But it was fun.
Yeah, it was interesting how the cars kind of all got separated during the pit cycle. Andrew Melvin actually spun on the apron, and I did see Tim get the speeding penalty or the unsafe entry, and we had a few other issues with different guys. But it was interesting how you two ended up together, and then eventually Braden, Ryan, and Melvin all kind of ended up together and chased you back down, which I figured they would. What were your thoughts when you and Jay were running side by side and you could see those guys starting to catch up?
Well, I think you probably saw what my thoughts were. Is I had to drop in behind them because side by side we were just losing over a second a lap. It was I'd rather run second and try to keep that gap as big as possible than run side by side and have it go away. But it went away anyways. But it was fun, and I enjoyed all of it.
Yeah, it was good to see you run up near the front and be there at the end and have a shot at the win. And congrats on the third place finish. Definitely a solid run. Anybody want to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on board to broadcast for this upcoming truck season I think you're doing.
Yep.
So thank you for that, and Paul, all the admins, for making this deal go around. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Are you planning on running the truck series this winter series?
Yeah, I plan to.
Okay. Cool. So we will see you here hopefully tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, then next week. And congrats again on the top 3. And we'll catch you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
All right. And that was our top 3 finishers. We're going to go through the full rundown here in just a second. All right. And let's go to our results here. Get rid of the winner overlay. All right, pretty solid race here tonight. It wasn't a big field, just 15 cars took the start. Jay Felton started 6th, comes home with the win, so congrats to Jay again. Was really strong out there and led 52 laps, which was, very impressive. And he said he felt like he had a very strong car, and that definitely showed. Second place is Mike Eames. It's shown as Braden Johnson, who is his nephew. So congrats there to Mike for finishing second. Kurt Davidson comes home third. Ryan Gemmel, after making a move late, drops to fourth. Andrew Melvin fifth. Stephen Parks sixth. Timothy Lewis seventh. Paul Zoda eighth. Larry Holloway ninth. And Vince Moore rounds out the top 10. And Adam Jones comes home 11th. Chad Heath 12th. Joe Owen 13th. Ron Hollyfield 14th. And Ellen Kirkpatrick rounds out the starters tonight. Aaron Schaefer and Sam Cooper Bennett did not take the field. So that is going to be everybody that ran tonight. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Capital Auto Repair and Service, as well as our other sponsors like Coffee and Glitter Mom, and so many more. Top City Travel, Portside Jaguar and Land Rover, who make all of this possible. I want to thank Paul for giving me the opportunity to broadcast up here. We will be broadcasting again tomorrow night for the Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series here with Somo Racing League here on SR Broadcasting. We'll be live at 9:15 Eastern Time on YouTube and Facebook, so keep an eye out for those broadcasts. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell on SR Broadcasting or SIMCAST here, where I'm currently testing, to see when we go live. So that is our race tonight, 95 laps here at Daytona. Just a fun race, and Jay Felton comes home with the win, so congrats again to Jay. We want to thank all of you viewers for coming out and watching, especially those that left feedback tonight for how we can improve and things we can change. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for tomorrow night's race over on SR Broadcasting. You can find that on YouTube and again Facebook. Please comment, like, and subscribe to SIMCAST and SR Broadcasting, and we will catch you next time.